The Suncoast Campaign for Grade Level Reading presents This Book is Cool.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to This Book is Cool. My name is Beth Duda. I'm the director of the Suncoast Campaign for Grade Level Reading. We have one of my very favorite books to share with you today. The book is Make Way for Ducklings, and you can see it has a medal on the cover. And that medal is because this is an award-winning book. It's the Caldecott Medal, and it's a medal for the wonderful illustrations that are in the book. And you can see all of these illustrations are black and white. It's a wonderful, heartwarming book that I think your whole family is going to enjoy. We have a very special guest with us today to talk to us about why she thinks this book is cool. We have school and teacher program coordinator from the Ringling, Katie Nickel, with us. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Beth. Thanks for having me.
I am delighted that you are joining us today to talk about this very special book. And one of the things that I'm noticing today is that your background is the beautiful courtyard at the Ringling, which has been there for many, many years.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking about a book that was actually written many, many years ago. I believe the book was written in the 1940s, but it's still a favorite of so many people. Why do you think this book is so cool?
Beth, I think this book is so cool because in Boston, they actually installed a sculpture of the mallard family. So if you ever go to visit Boston and the Boston Public Gardens, you can see the mother duck and all 8 of her ducklings right there in the middle of the park.
It is one of my very favorite things. I made a special trip the very first time I went to Boston to go see that sculpture. I love that a children's book is honored in that way in a public park. And the book is set all around the public gardens in Boston. And one of the other things that the book mentions that I still am able to see in Boston are the swan boats.
I really enjoyed that about the book as well. And there's so many different Boston landmarks throughout. There's the Louisburg Square, but also even landmarks like the Massachusetts State House. So you can really follow the Mallard family's track through Boston and learn all about Boston history through the Mallard family. I think that's really incredible.
The book starts before the babies are born. Mama Mallard and the daddy Mallard are looking for a place to have their family. And so they're looking for a place that's safe, where there's food. They have all kinds of requirements. But then they hatch 8 baby ducks. And they give them rhyming names, which I just love.
I agree. I thought that was so funny. I love that they list out all 8 names throughout the book, so you really get to memorize them. Let me see if I can get them right.
Oh my goodness.
You see if I can get this right.
Okay.
I think it's Jack, Cack, Lack,
Yes.
Mac, Knack, Whack, Pack, and Crack.
Quack.
All of them?
You got them all. Yes, that's amazing. Wow. You do think this book is cool, and I do too. And I think that it made the ducks seem almost human, giving all those rhyming names to their children. I know I had an aunt and uncle who gave all of their children names that started with the letter D. And, you know, different families have those naming conventions. And I loved that Robert McCloskey used that in the book to make us have a great affection for all 10 of the ducks in the mallard family.
It's a big family, and I love that all of their names go together. So even if you mix it up, you're still going to get at least one of the ducklings' attention, right?
Indeed. When Mama Duck wanted to go visit the father duck, she had to cross traffic, and she had to cross traffic with 8 ducks walking behind her, which was very difficult to do until she got the help of some very kindly police officers.
Yeah, it's a really heartwarming book, isn't it, Beth? To see how careful and thoughtful the duckling parents were, knowing that they were about to have their ducklings in the world. And they really made sure that all of the ducklings' needs were taken care of. And I agree. I think that's a really heartwarming and important part of that book, that we all deserve to feel safe and secured and loved.
It makes me smile, and it makes me smile to think about families sharing this story, to see the illustrations. I think they're very artistic and wonderful. And you work at a place that is full of art. Can you tell us a little bit about the Ringling?
Yeah, I'd love to. The Ringling is the State Art Museum of Florida, which is kind of similar when you think about it. I don't know if you knew, Make Way for Ducklings is the state children's book for Massachusetts. So in a similar way, we're the State Art Museum for our state, for Florida. And we're a really fun and magical place. We have 4 different museums. We are botanical gardens, just like Boston's public gardens ourselves. We also have an art museum, a historic mansion, and a circus museum. So there's a lot to discover at the Ringling. We love art, and I agree with you, Beth. I love the illustrations in this book. It's one of my absolute favorite parts.
And Katie, I know that the Ringling, certainly you can visit, or you would pay admission to come into the Ringling, but I also know that there are special days at the Ringling where you can come to see the art where you don't even have to pay. Can you tell us about those days?
So every single Monday, no matter what time of year it is, the museum is completely free. So pack up your family and come and visit us on a Monday. But there's another really fun way that you can visit for free a lot more often. All of our family programs are free, and they include museum admission. So if you sign up for one of our family programs, either family art making on our Saturdays, or one of our story time programs like Roar, that comes with museum admission. So you can come make some art with us and then visit the museum for the rest of the day, all completely free.
Oh my goodness, you are like a one-woman entertainment package. You're sharing this great book that we can enjoy at home, but then giving us all these options for things that we can do with our family in a beautiful setting, the Ringling. I want to thank you, Katie, for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Beth.
It was fun to talk to Katie about the book Make Way for Ducklings. Our author, Robert McCloskey, also included some wonderful words for our word bank. Our first word for our word bank is the word enormous. Enormous. That means something that is extremely large, or a great amount of something could be considered enormous. Our next word is the word dither. Dither. To be in a dither means to be in an upset or highly agitated state. So sometimes if you're very worried about something, your brain might work like you're in a dither. Our next word is the word horrid. Horrid. That means something that's very unpleasant or very disagreeable. Horrid. Our next word is the word molt. Molt. That means to shed an outer covering, or in the case of ducks, it's when they shed their feathers. That's called molting. Our final word for our word bank is the word waddle. Waddle. That means to walk with short steps, swaying slightly from side to side. If you've ever seen a duck walk, you then know what it means to waddle.
Miss Beth, before I leave the beautiful Ringling grounds today, do you think you could do something with a feather for our activity?
Let's do that, Katie. We're going to do an experiment to show why ducks don't get wet. Have you ever wondered about that? So here's what we have discovered. Ducks have an oil that they put onto their feathers. Have you ever seen a duck whose bill is like smoothing out their feathers? That's the way they spread the oil. And I'm going to show you how that works to keep them from getting wet. So on this piece of paper, first I'm going to show you what happens if I put water on here and I don't have any oil. So when I put that on, you'll see that the water is just going to kind of bleed into the paper. So it just kind of goes right into the paper. Now I'm going to put some oil on the paper. So I'm going to just take a little bit of oil and I'm going to smooth that onto the paper. So this is going to give a coating of oil. And as I do that, the oil is going to do a protective layer. So next, when I put the water on, it's going to just bead up. And look, it can just stay that way. The oil has given this protective coating. Isn't that cool? Let's see how it works on a feather. So these feathers already have their natural oil on them. So I'm going to put some water on this feather and see if it soaks in or it beads up. Look at that, it just beads up. It doesn't soak in at all. Isn't that cool? I never knew before that feathers have a natural coating of oil on them. And that's why ducks don't get wet. If you do this experiment at home, I hope that you'll send us a picture of it. You can send your pictures to connect@gradelevelreadingsuncoast.net. Look, that water is still beaded up. It still hasn't soaked into the paper. Wow, that's pretty cool. Just like the book. Also very cool. Well, bye-bye for now, my friends. Remember, reading is the key to succeeding. See you soon. Bye-bye.